so if we look at Christian marriage versus secular marriage,
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, this entire notion that there's a 50% divorce rate is nonsense. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's between 35 and 40. That was a false statistic given based on when no fault divorce laws passed and
Mm-hmm.
what they were projecting the divorce rate
Mm-hmm.
was. It never actually hit 50%, which is another red pill talking point, which is nonsense.
I think most people say 40 to 50.
Yeah, it's closer to 35.
Okay.
It's 35 to 40 in terms of folks that get divorced throughout their lifetime.
Sure.
And so if we and then the folks who get divorced are more likely to get divorced.
Yeah.
But then we look at Christian marriage and we find out that folks who go to church regularly and are, practicing their faith, taking their faith seriously, and those folks end up getting divorced at the lowest rates.
Yes.
If those folks have a slightly above average income, the whole divorce rate plummets.
Yep.
So most men are going to want kids. Most women are going to want kids. Who you have kids is the most important decision. I think who you marry and who you have kids with, by far the most decision you're making. So if we're seeing these folks over here who are creating healthy, stable families and healthy, stable environments, and they're staying married and they're flourishing, wouldn't we want to go and investigate and say, what is it about these Christians that are married for decades and decades at a time, instead of acting like they don't exist, which the red pill does?
Yeah, you know, one of the biggest flaws or all
right, so you can see where dude's coming from it, right? He's saying, well, the divorce rate is like in the 40 percentile. No, it's not. Right. And that's just the divorce rate. And then we talk about sexless marriages and happy, like people who are happy marriages, stuff like that. Like, look, everyone agrees that the divorce rate, and especially in America, 50%. No one really argues that point. When I see this dude arguing that point, I'm like, why would you argue this, bro? You know what I mean? Like, why would you argue this? And then to make the point that, well, again, Jesus is the answer. If you go to church and you read the Bible and you live this life, you're going to be successful. No, you're not, bro. It's not a separate number for people who are married. There is a separate number for people who make a lot of money. Divorce does tend to go down the more money people make. That is true. But that has nothing to do with religion. Right? So when I see stuff like this, I'm like, bro, again, they're trying to create something that's not real. They don't want to accept the true situation on the ground. And you are doomed to fail. You're doomed to fail. You're sitting there like, well, you know what? I don't know. La, 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 la. I don't want to hear it. No, I'm just going to do it this way. In World War II, the very beginning of World War II, when the Germans invaded France, there was a road into Belgium that stretched from Belgium all the way into Germany. It was the entire German army. They were on this road. It was the largest traffic jam ever at that point in time. Ever. In the history of the world, it was the largest traffic jam ever. It was the entire German army, the Wehrmacht, SS, all of them were on this road. Traffic jam. A French reconnaissance plane saw this traffic jam, looked down, couldn't believe what he saw. It's the entire German army on a road that they shouldn't be on. Why? That's the entire German army. Right there below him. He makes a report. The report makes it to the highest ranking general in France. And that general refused to believe the situation on the ground. Refused to believe it. Nope. The Germans aren't there. The Germans are supposed to be over here. Nope. Check it again. Planes comes back like, yeah, that's them. We're looking at them. One airstrike, a joint airstrike from the French Air Force and the Royal Air Force, the RAF, World War II would have been over. The entire German military army was on the ground. And the French general in charge refused to believe the information. And that's how I look at these religious types. That's how I look at these blue pill people. Anyone who's out here saying that, nah, marriage works, they refuse to believe the information on the ground. Point blank, period. You go into that situation like that, you're gonna suffer the same fate that France suffered. They were utterly defeated. And I don't care how much you believe in God. God did not miracle France of victory that day. He tried to. God, like, here they go. If you're a religious person, hey, right here. He tried to. But the people on the ground didn't want to take that information. They didn't want to believe it. Their brother Penny's like, I don't know where the pro-marriage dudes get their stats. They get them from their head. They cherry picked. You know what I mean? And there's people on the right too. I mean, the numbers are going to fluctuate a little bit, but what dude's talking about is absolutely ridiculous. But even if you use his numbers, even if you say, okay, 40% of marriages end in divorce. Okay. But tack on another 20% of unhappy people and people who are just staying in marriage because they don't want to split their stuff up. You're still at 60%. That's still a very high number. Right? It's still a very high number. Why do that? You're still getting wrecked. It's like, yeah, Brother Russ, like that dude's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, he just believes in what he believes in. He is like there's a lot of hardcore red pill guys out there that go just as hard as he does on the red pill side. He's going extremely hard on the blue pill side. I wouldn't listen to that guy. I mean, I would listen to what he has to say, and I would go back and I would just go get some numbers. Like Brother Rush, like divorce rate is up by 70%. 40% is at grass. Yeah, I believe that, bro. I believe that. So I wanted to get that part in there real quick. And there's one more thing I want to show you guys. So when I hear stuff like this, man, it's like, man, what are y'all? Anyone who believes that, any young man who believes what that dude is pumping. And again, I'm gonna link that video in the description as well, so guys can go. You guys can go check it out for yourself, right? But here it is, divorce stats for 2022. This is just for some LLC. I mean, it is what it is. Divorce statistics for 2022 in the U.S. Right, according to the American Psychological Association, approximately 40 to 50% of first marriages end in divorce. The divorce rate for second marriages is even higher, with approximately 60 to 67% of second marriages ending in divorce. I mean, it is what it is. He's saying, well, these numbers don't make sense because it was based on projections and da. No, these are people who actually got divorced, and you got states like California. States like California, they track marriages, but they don't track divorce. They don't know how many people got divorced in California. They don't track it. You have to go use separate entities to track that. So the state of California knows this, how they don't want to tell you. I really believe the state of California divorce rate's in the 60s, 60 percentile. Right? According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the divorce rate in the United States was 3.2 per 1,000 population in 2019, down from 3.6 per 1,000 population in 2018. This means that approximately 827,261 divorces were recorded in 2019, with the total number of divorces since 2000 topping 8.3 million. Right? So when people say stuff like that, it's like, well, just go get the numbers. The numbers are out there. And again, I'm not saying that I don't believe in marriage. I believe in marriage. I'm just saying that a lot of people get out of it. And when they do, the laws wreck them. Right? That's all I'm saying. We need to change the laws. This is what Zuby is talking about. How can I tell some young man that I'm trying, or some young woman for that matter, that has stuff, that's doing well, that has a bright future, to get married to someone who doesn't? Like, go marry this brokey. Why? When they can take you to court, they can take you to family court and wreck you in 5 to 7 years. That's not a good idea. And if you understand this information, take this information for what it is, understand it. Okay. Go get your prenup. Go talk to lawyers. Go get your prenup. And if that person signs a prenup, great. Because everything is all stated in the paperwork, great. Should people be compensated if they dedicated their lives to a spouse and a marriage and it doesn't work? Should they be compensated? Yeah. Absolutely. But they weren't out there taking any swings like Tiger Woods. They weren't out there shooting any jump shots like LeBron James. Yeah, but they were maintaining a home. They were there morally supporting them. Like, hey, they might have been the reason to get him up. They're the reason he's eating healthy. They could be the reason he's in the gym, right? She's, she's doing everything she needs to do to keep him happy. that comes, you know, as a price for that, bro. Now, if she's sitting around doing nothing, or if he's sitting around doing absolutely nothing, just leeching and whatever, then they don't get shit. They don't get shit. You know what I mean? But again, like, and this is what my man Jay Swans was saying. It was like, look, bro, most people don't want to do the right thing. Most people are greedy, right? Most people are just bad people, and they want to get over. I'm like, you're right. And he's like, so we need the government to make it right. I'm like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? I don't agree with that at all. Life of Cash, bro, 50% divorce rates is huge. It's a huge L. Yeah, even if it's just 50%, it's a huge L. Even using his numbers, used 35%. He was saying 35% of marriages fail. All right, tack on the other 20% of people who are unhappy and they're staying married because they don't want to go through losing half their stuff or whatever. You're still over 50%. Even using his numbers, you're over 50%. And like Brother Cash says, that's a huge L. Go to a restaurant with a 50% chance of getting food poisoning. Right. Excited yet, gents? Brother Lou's in the building. What's up? Yeah, church denomination only and get a contract. That's all you need. Facts. At the end of the day, man, that's what it should be. Just go get a contract. You can choose to get a contract or not, but the government's not going to step in. If your marriage fails or whatever, ladies and gentlemen, if your marriage fails, we're not going to help you do nothing. Go to the church or wherever you want to get married, get yourself a contract, and that's what it is. That's what it is. But we're not going to take anything from anybody. That's how I believe it should be honest with you. That's what I think it should be. What percent of marriages end in divorce? According to the American Psychological Association, approximately 40 to 50% of first-time marriages end in divorce. The divorce rate for second marriages is even higher, right? We read that earlier, 60 to 67% of second marriages end in divorce. Right? According to the U.S. Census Bureau, there were 2,245,404 marriages in 2019. And 827,261 divorces, which means approximately 37% of marriages end in divorce in that 1 year.